Hello everybody and welcome to House. I'm Rob, and today we're going to be taking a look at some potential leaks slash rumors for Pokemon Legends ZA. It has been a while since we have gotten anything of substance for that game. It's been basically, a little bit of Pokemon Champions, a lot of Pokemon Gen 10. Now we are finally going to be getting a little bit more into what's going to be happening potentially with Pokemon Legends ZA. Before we dive in though, I'm going to ask you guys like and subscribe. Like because it helps out the video, subscribe so you don't miss out on all the great Pokemon content we have coming out nearly every single day here at the Pokemon House. But let's hop into it. Let me know in the comment section below what you guys think of this as well. So there are going to be various arcs throughout the game that help rank progressions such as tournament arcs, Mafia arc, detective arc, etc. Events that happen in the city that you are tasked with dealing with. So I will say this is from Ball Guy, somebody who has had some rumors and some leaks that have ended up being true. I know that they are not the most, I would say reputable leaker out there for sure, but they have definitely had some things that have been true. The tournament arc is essentially an entire Battle Mason reference and is ran by Jacinta. I think that's how you say that. A new character. She uses Mega Dragonite and has an extremely buff maid partner who uses Mega Drampa, which we've heard a lot about these two being Megas, so I could see that happening. The Mafia arc is interesting. Top boss is Karivu. Another new character who uses Mega Scolipede, and his second in command to the Mafia, known as Philippe, has Skarmory. I would assume Mega Skarmory. That's been the rumor that there's going to be a Mega one. Team Flare has a food truck. That's pretty funny, which is run by Xerosic, Grisham, L, who is Lysander, meaning that he is back, which there have been a lot of rumors saying that that is true. And Zygarde connection allows L to speak with Zygarde, essentially, similar to telepathy, if you will. Also, to kick the door open for theories, there's no set rank for characters, really, and they are not attached by name. Yvonne and Zach are just early generic characters and don't really set a standard. Okay, interesting. So, again, I'm going to continue to kind of rank these, 1 to 10 on how realistic I think they are. I'll give you that here at the end of this. Let's just kind of break this down. So, there are multiple arcs. There were in Legends Arceus as well. I'm really interested in a couple of these. I love the idea of a tournament one. I love the idea of a Mafia one, and I love the idea of a detective arc. Those all sound very fun. They sound like they'd be really good parts of, this game. We've gotten a hint at the detective part. Not really a hint at the Mafia part, but that sounds awesome. And we obviously know about the tournament arc to a certain degree. And now I don't know if this is different than the ZA Royale. That is very much a possibility. But this talks about it being an entire Battle Mason. Maybe this is more of like a side quest now that I'm thinking about it. And it's run by Jacinta. They are using Mega Dragonite and their buff maid partner using Mega Drampa. So this is kind of working in those Megas like we talked about. The Mafia one would be really, really cool. I wonder if this one would be, more of you're going around maybe stopping the Mafia. Like, would this be, because the Mafia has always kind of felt like Team Rocket, to be honest with you. I would have loved if they had worked Team Rocket into this in some way as maybe that Mafia, type, I guess team, right? But that sounds like they're going to be the bad team. Nothing here on the detective arc. I really wonder, how this is all going to play into what we saw in that first, or I guess technically second trailer that gave us a lot more details. Obviously, we saw Looker and his desk and everything, so I would have to imagine that has something to do with him. What is also going to be interesting is I wonder if we're only going to get the Megas from these Pokemon if we have completed these quests, because that's something that I have been talking about. That's something that I know a lot of other people have been talking about, but that was one of the first questions I had was, if we're getting all these new Megas, how are we going to get the Mega Stones? I have a video out on that if you want to check on that. This was not one of my theories necessarily. I talked about there being quests. I think maybe, I guess this could technically kind of, mix in or kind of coincide with that. sort of theory that I had. And then Team Flare having a food truck, which is absolutely hysterical. Are they actually Team Flare? Are we just going to recognize them as Team Flare? Maybe our main character won't. Maybe the rest of the world doesn't really. Because a lot of their, activities and things were kind of underground. We know that they used to own, I believe it was the cafes. So maybe they've moved to a food truck now, and that's going to be part of the game. I wonder how it's going to tie in, especially considering Lysander and Zygarde being connected. We have already seen Zygarde. We have not seen Lysander. It is especially interesting considering we've already met a couple of characters who, I can't even remember their names, but the older woman and the guy with like the Baneri and stuff in his hair, are they not connected to any of these? Like, they look like they would be connected to Mafia. I know it's Quasartico, technically it's its own thing, so is there going to be like an overarching arc with Quasartico that's going to be connected to all of these things? Zygarde we know is going to be important, so it makes it feel like Lysander is going to be important, and thus Team Flare is going to be important. Are you going to have to, in order to work with Zygarde, you're going to have to work with Lysander? I would have thought he would have been in jail based on what happened. I don't really remember exactly what happened to him at the end of X and Y, but this is very interesting. And then, the set rank for characters, they're not attached by name. Whatever, that's fine. It was a theory a lot of people had. I know Connor and I talked about it as well, but like, whatever. If that ends up not being the case, then that's completely fine. I don't think anybody's going to be really that upset if, the W character isn't named Will or Wilma or something. I don't know. I was just going with the W-I-L names right there off the top of my head. But look, this Ball Guy doesn't really put stuff out unless if, that individual feels like there's a good chance that a good portion of this is right? They will throw things out there and they will be wrong. That's because they really trust their source. I've not heard much from Ball Guy in a while myself. I've not seen anything. Maybe I've missed a couple things, but I'm going to give this 1 out of 10. I'm going to give this one a 7 or an 8 as well. I know I did that on the last one too. I could totally see this happening. I can see the tournament arc. I can see the Mafia arc. I can see Team Flare being back into it. What makes me question this, to be honest with you, is the source. If I trusted Ball Guy more, I feel like I'd be like, okay, this feels like this is going to be in the game. We should start prepping for this. I'm going to start making videos on what each of these arcs could mean and what, Lysander being back in the game means. Maybe I will even do a video on that. If you guys would enjoy that, I might do a video on what the connection with Lysander being back in the game could mean for Legends ZA. That's giving me an idea. We might do that. But regardless, the rest of this, it feels like it's very possible. It's broad enough to where it sounds right, but there are a few specifics that make it also feel like that could totally work. So I don't know. I would really like this personally. I would love these arcs. I think it'd be really fun to have them connected. I would love to see Lysander back and in a in an important role, kind of like we've seen with characters like AZ returning, right? So it makes it feel like this game's going to be a lot more, because I was a little worried it was just going to be the ZA tournament in connection with Quasartico and building up the city. I want more side quests and things like that, and this feels like it's going to hit that niche. Especially considering the ETC, the etc. there at the end, meaning that there are going to be more arcs than just those 3, and that it sounds like at least the ZA tournament will kind of coincide with this as well. So I don't know, maybe I'm missing something. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, but that's all I've got for today. So from our house to yours, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.